Hello everybody, welcome back to Fifield Junction and welcome to the next part on the review of the very nice, brand new, well I suppose fairly new now, GWR Class 150 by Bachmann. As you've already seen, if you've watched part 1, if you haven't already, I recommend you go and watch it. We've just looked at the model in detail and we are now ready to put her onto the track, as she already is, and see what she's like and get her running in. Let's just give her a quick wiggle to see what she's like. Very, very smooth, and again, this is with barely any running hours. She's probably only done a couple of laps of the layout so far, and that's it. So that's all she's really had. And already she's running really well. You can just see the tail lights there. So that's with barely any running, and she's already running really smoothly. So once she's running, she should be a lot better. But anyway, let's get her running in, and once she's running, we'll come back. Obviously, we'll then have to uncouple the two units, and we'll then chip her, and then we'll see what she's like then. So let's get running in, and then I'll come back in a moment once she's finished running in. And it would help if I picked the right direction as well. There we go. So about half speed. That's all we really need to do. And there we go. So there we go. She's running nice and smoothly. I know the lights look like they're flickering on camera, but they're not. In real life, those lights are nice and stable. They do seem to be a bit dimmer in the dummy car, and that does seem to be a similar case on my first Great Western 150. So I'm not sure why they're dimmer in the dummy units, but I suppose it's not too noticeable. When she's chipped anyway, those lights will also be constant. So it could just be a thing that's on DC. But yeah, can't complain really, excellent performance. So we'll leave her to run in, then we'll come back once she's all run in both directions, and we'll then put a decoder in her. Okay, here we are everybody. The DMU, the 150, is now finished running in. It's now the next day because I just ran out of time filming last night. But we're now here the next day. She's all run in, she's running nicely, nice and smooth in both directions. And she's now ready to have a decoder fitted. And to remove the body on the 150 is fairly simple to do. On this particular model, there are just 3 screws that you have to take out to get the body off. There are 2 at this end, 1 here and 1 down here, and the third one is just underneath the bogie, underneath the coupling here. If I just move it slowly closer to the camera, there's a screw there. I've already taken all the screws out, just so that they're ready, just so that they're out and ready to, so it'll be faster for us to take the body off. But with those screws removed, the body should then fairly easily come off. It might need a little bit of gentle persuasion, but if we just pull on it gently, it should then fairly easily come off. Here we go, it's coming slowly. Just a little bit of gentle persuasion. There shouldn't be any clips. And there we go. So if we just put the body to one side, and there we go, we can now see what she's like inside. So obviously the motor and everything is underneath this metal block here. Just a word of warning, if you do decide to take this metal block out to gain access to the motor for whatever reason, just be wary that there is a very small, very short drive shaft that connects the flywheel from the motor to the drive shaft. On my first Great Western one, I've done that before, where I have gained access to the motor. But because the motor is actually fixed through screws into this metal block, so the screws secure it upwards, so it's suspended from this metal block. You've then got to, when you're replacing this block, you've then got to somehow guide the motor, basically somehow guide that drive shaft back into place, back into the worm drive, and it can be quite difficult to do. It did take me a while last time for my first Great Western one to get the entire mechanism back together properly. So just a word of warning on that, but obviously we don't need to worry about that for now, and we shouldn't need to gain access to the motor for a long time. Obviously in this case we just want to get the blanking plate out to fit the decoder. So we'll just grab a small flathead screwdriver. There we go. Then we just need to very gently prise the blanking plate out. And just be careful to not damage any of the pins, because the socket on this model is a bit more delicate to other models, so it can be a bit difficult to get these out sometimes. If we very gently, I'm just holding the circuit board beneath in place with my hands, there we go, and the blanking plate comes out fairly easily. Then you just need to grab the 21 pin decoder of your choice, whichever you're going to be fitting. For now, we're just going to take a standard 21 pin Bachmann decoder. Like most of my models, we will be fitting sound to this model in the future, but that doesn't matter too much at the moment, so I won't be doing that for a while. So this decoder will do perfectly fine for now. So we just want to make sure that we get the pins lined up properly. We don't want to bend any of them, because then you can have a right headache sometimes trying to line them back up. And once you think you've got them lined up, and I believe they are, you just push the decoder in, and it should go in nice and easily. And I believe that's in. If we just check to make sure none of those pins have been damaged. And yes, there we go. It looks like it's in. Actually, it looks like one of those pins might be a bit damaged. No, it's fine. It's just my eyes. So everything is fine there. So now, if we just have it, we can now head over to the layout and check to see that everything works and see what she's like now. So I'll come back in a second, and I'll put the body back on and get her programmed, and then we'll come back and we'll see what she's like now. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, here we are. As we can see, the body shell is back on. I've just positioned her back here quite a bit, just so we can see the lights a bit better when we put them on in a moment. But everything, obviously everything's been fitted. The decoder is fitted. She's had a quick test. Everything seems to be working fine. But anyway, let's just put her lights on. There we go. So we can see we've got the headlights there. And unfortunately, the headlight configuration on this model is incorrect. The GWR 150s do not have the marker lights on them, so it's a shame Bachmann haven't changed that to make it more accurate. Again, that brings the price into question quite a bit, but I can live with it. I can definitely live with it too. It's not going to bother me that much. And we can also see the interior lights there as well. Again, it would be nice if those interior lights were wired to a different function, so you could turn them off separately to the directional lights. But oh well, I suppose that's something we can just live with. Or if you wanted to, you could rewire the model so that those lights work on a separate function. Before we just give her a bit of a wiggle. It's really smooth. There we go. If we go back in the other direction. There we are. Absolutely just fantastic. Nice and smooth. Not completely silent, but it's still okay. One thing, I may do a part 3 to this review where I try this unit with the First Great Western one, because I have fitted one of the new style kinematic couplings to this end of the unit, and I will try at some point fit one to my First Great Western one, and I'll try and see if I can get both units to run together. I don't see why they shouldn't, because they're the same mechanism, they've both got the same decoder in them. So hopefully they should run together, but I will try it at some point, and if it does work, then I'll do a follow-up part to this review where we can see both units running together. And if I can't get it to work for whatever reason, then this will just be the final part of this review, and that will be that. But I will try to get them to run together, and if I can, then you will see that, and if it doesn't work, then you won't see it. But anyway, let's get her running and now see what she's like on DCC. So she should be smoother and she should be quieter. So let's see what she's like. And we'll get her going at about 50% speed. Or that might be too fast, so we'll go a bit slower than that actually. So there we go, nice and smooth. Definitely quieter than when she was on DC. Obviously she's still not completely silent, but again she is still fairly new. Hopefully some more running will quieten her down. She might need a bit of oil. When she was running in, there did sound like there was a lot of noise from the mechanism, but there should be plenty of lubrication on all the gears and everything from the factory, so hopefully she'll be fine. But yeah, overall, I can't complain. She's a great model. Again, the price is very questionable, but overall she's a great model. I can't complain really. The details are fantastic, the livery application is fantastic, the performance is as you'd expect from Bachmann. Most of their models do perform really well, but I suppose formally are exactly the same. But yeah, if you wanted 150 from Bachmann or this one specifically, I definitely recommend you get it. Definitely don't pay over the odds for it. I definitely try and get it for the price that I got mine for, if you can. Although you may struggle, but if you can get it cheaper than that, then definitely get one, because they are great models. But yeah, the Bachmann GWR Class 150, absolutely fantastic.